What'd you take away from the scrimmage? What'd you learn about your group?
Well, I learned that I think when we play clean and we're confident in what we're doing, I think we've got some weapons. I know we have some weapons and some makings of a really good offense, and but a lot of mistakes. A lot of first scrimmage mistakes. That's to some degree. You kind of know in the mind that they're going to be some of those going to happen, but we got to get it cleaner. We got to play a cleaner brand of football. That was the big thing that jumped out to me.
Is that turnovers?
It really wasn't the turnovers. We really took care of the ball pretty well during the scrimmage, but it was more the details. The details that start with me, passing them down to the coaches and on, and just some loose details. With just some of it assignment based, some of it was just like maybe a read by the quarterback, a fit by the O-line, a hat placement out here or there. So just details that are the difference between winning football and not. And so we've got to get better in that world.
How has Josh solidified himself at center? What have you seen from him?
Well, he's just really consistent. That's what the coach was preaching to our guys today about. Not preaching, but talking to our guys at the end of practice about, like, the best thing you can do is be the best version of you every day and be the same guy as you continue to climb and get better. And Josh has just been ultra consistent since I've been here in his development, his understanding. He's got an incredible understanding of offensive football and seeing the box the way it's supposed to be seen. And he's a great leader, and we're really excited about where he's at right now.
Well, Zai said, about Josh said that you kind of have to be a little savage to play center. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think you got to have an element of that. There's a lot going on now. I mean, there's Bart puts a lot on those guys, and most offenses do. For the center, the communication, the pre-snap communication. I mean, he directs all the traffic up there, and that's a lot. And then to have a guy in our defense playing right over the top of you that's 300-something pounds, and that's just trying to run his hands right through your midline as you snap the ball. I can't imagine doing that. And but he's embraced that and done a really good job in that role.
What are the biggest things you've seen from Luke so far as you enter the second week of camp?
I would say consistency as well. Luke's got a really good understanding of what we're doing offensively. I mean, he's he and John both are what I would say savvy players. John's a little bit older than Luke, been around the block a little bit more, but both of them, you can see they've played football, they've been in systems, they've been taught, and they've retained that learning, and they've translated into what we're doing here. But Luke's got a really incredible mind for the game, and that's been really impressive to me.
What's the biggest thing you took away from last year that you're using this year, going into the second year, whatever that may be for you?
Well, I think that could be a really long question. You guys know I can answer questions and take them a long way, so we could be here between now and the kick. Yeah, I mean, I think it's about you have to systematically just empower your guys to play with confidence, and the way you do that is through a volume of repetition and understanding the schemes like in and out. There was times last year that probably we didn't completely understand that, and part of it was probably there was a volume involved there with me of trying to put the offense in. There's always a fine line between is it too much, is it too little. And I think we've got a team that understands what we're doing and the base concepts, and it's going to allow us to execute better. And so I think that's the big takeaway for me going in year two with this team and this league is we've got to put our guys in position to just cut them loose and let them play freely.
You said in year two you hoped everybody who's been here can help lift the quarterbacks
Yeah.
up a little bit. What have you seen from that, like the totality of playmakers, offensive line you ever
Sure.
Has that helped those guys?
Sure it has. Yeah, I think the consistency with the receivers and the growth that they made, not just with the three that we talk about a lot, but the guys that are coming underneath them. The consistency at running back I think has been really impressive. Just those guys have been really steady, whoever's been in there. And the O-line continues to get better and better every day. So it's everybody. It's all 11. We all know that we talk about that position a lot, and for good measure. I mean, that's the name of the game. You got to get good quarterback play, but you can't have good quarterback play unless you have the play around the other 10 spots that are as good as well. And I think that's shown up quite a bit during camp.
How are you feeling about the depth of your playmakers just around the quarterback?
I feel good. I mean, I think we got a myriad of different guys that can affect the game in a positive way at the Big Ten level. And I think the more options you get, the better off that you're going to be. And I think I feel good about our backs. I think our tight ends have had their moments, and and I think at receiver, I think we're in a good spot with our receiver room right now.
What can Aiden Lafferty add to your offense? Has he reached that point in camp where you think he can carve out a niche as
I think so.
change of pace guy?
I think so. I think he's certainly working at that pace. I think he's gotten better and better at being a true natural running back. I see the growth there. Made a nice run on Saturday. Several nice runs, but one in particular that was nicer than the others. And but his speed is elite, and it's as a coordinator, you got to think players, not plays, to a large degree. And has he carved a niche out yet? I mean, I don't know. We haven't really gotten to the game plan mindset, but he's a guy that brings a skill set that's unique to us. And from a day-to-day perspective, he's still learning to play the position. I've seen great strides there, and we love where he's at.
You've used the term consistency a few times. Is that like a standard where you should be at week 2 of camp, or does year 2 kind of help level that consistency out, if that makes sense?
Both. I think both. You would hope that this time going into practice 9 or 10, that you would have more consistency in what we're doing, but there is a element of install, right? So you're installing, so it's always that puzzle you're piecing together. You're going forward, but then you bring them back with some new things, and those are things that are necessary for us to play winning football. So, but yeah, I mean, I think between year 2 of us understanding what we're doing offensively and just within camp, I think that's kind of merged together with what you see, a consistent approach. That doesn't mean it's been perfect. I mean, I don't think we've gone backwards any particular day. Today was probably one of our least underwhelming days in that regard, but we just got to keep stacking days one on top of another.
Have you found that Luke, his football IQ is obviously pretty high?
Yeah.
Have you been able to kind of go back and forth with him through camp now and say, hey, Coach, I like this,
Yeah.
I don't like this, or I really need to work on this?
Yeah, I think so. I think I do that with all my guys,
Right.
all the guys. I've had those private conversations with, hey, what are you comfortable with? What are you seeing? Some of those guys have a stronger opinion than others because of their training and where they've been in the system they've been in. And Luke's very in tune with, I think, who he is, what he likes, what he doesn't like. And when I call something that he likes, he's usually spot on it, And so as we continue to grow in our system, there's things that he's not as comfortable with that we're working through camp to try to get him game ready comfortable, the things that are different for our system that can help us.
He talked about his baseball background, and I know you have one too. Does that open up things for him as a quarterback that doesn't for others at all?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think there's a certain level that it kind of molds you, and the kind of physically the type of player that you are, the quarterback, like the release. And he's got a whippy release that looks like a shortstop turning a double play. Gets rid of the ball quickly, which is really handy for the stuff that we do horizontally attached with our run game, like the reliefs and RPOs and things of that nature. So it's really, really easy for him to do that.
What has a healthy Sean Miller brought to you guys offensively?
Sean's a competitor, and he's tough, and he's I can't imagine, there's other guys on our team that are doing it, going through, losing a whole year and with an injury, and then a position like that where you're running. I think he's really responded in a great way. He's worked his tail off to get back healthy, and he's very multiple. He's got a lot of flexibility in our offense because he really can play all 3 positions. He can play left out, right out, and inside, and just continues to really show his desire to want to do well.
What does Donovan gain with reps, just as many reps as he's getting?
Yeah, just experience, right? So, I mean, there's literally when you go in there and watch film at all positions, you go and watch the film, and 120 play scrimmage, that's just, I don't even know what the number was. It might have been 50 somewhere, I don't know the exact number, but all 60 plays, all 80 plays, every day we go out to practice, every single play that they're involved with, there's something to learn from. Is it a technique? Is it a footwork placement? Is it a ball placement? Is it eyes? And so, not only, they're all getting that, but with him in particular, he's getting better on every one of those exposures because he hadn't played in the game. And so that's the way he has to get better right now.
Watching the film from Friday, what did you see from the O-line? And what are some things you think that they need to continue to improve at?
Well, they're no different than any of us. I mean, any of us positionally, just consistency, iron out the details, playing with great fundamentals, strain and finish. Our guys, we had some really, really nice looking reps and runs in the scrimmage, and playing in unison, communication. Man, there's so much that goes on. And our defense puts an incredible amount of stress on you because of the way they play. It's a very unique scheme. They have different ways to attack you that creates unique challenges, to just be quite frank. And so, there were some really good signs there of them communicating and being on the right page. And when that happens, man, I think we're really good. And then as we continue to grow, we've got to get those things ironed out, just like we do at all positions. So we're striving for perfection. We know that probably we're not going to play the perfect game, but we're striving for perfection.
If you're clearly going to roll in and out multiple backs this year, you've made the comment that Chase made us right a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to be cognizant of when you make calls or when you're calling a game that, okay, this is the personnel I have out there, especially at tailback, this is what they do best. This is, because it's just different body types and
Sure.
different skill sets.
It is different, and Reggie and Josh are different, and Caden's different, and Aiden's different, and
Right.
Jordan. They're all a little bit different in that regard. So yeah, I think you have to have a little bit of an understanding about, okay, I got this guy in the game, he played, but I really believe this strongly that our guys that are in the game can do everything that we ask them to do. Everything that's in our system, our guys can do, and they can make us right too. They have the ability to make us right too, and I'm excited about watching them run.
Sounds like we've heard, like, Pat said he's taking some reps inside in that slot. You mentioned Sean. Like, is there more versatility among the wide receiver group this year? And if so, like, how can that enhance what you guys do offensively?
Yeah, I think so. I think, obviously Isaiah can play anywhere, and Pat can play anywhere. And Casey has really got a stronger feel of what we're doing and going in year 2 of it. So there's some flexibility. He plays left and right some based on the formations. And so I think like Hank and Sean and Kanari and Ashton, like all those, Malik, all those guys, and I know George would attest to this, the more that they can learn, the more flexibility we have. And so they've done a great job of learning. So I think we've got some, some plug and play opportunities there where we can move some pieces around. Just even formationally, we can flip guys right and left and in and out. So hopefully we'll be able to do that as we get into game action to change the look up out there.
What's the key for the quarterbacks moving forward in camp? What's next for them?
Yeah, so it's continue to master the offense, understanding early down management of the game, and taking what's given and keeping us efficient on first down, and then using their legs and their arm to create opportunities in money situations. When we're on third down and red zone, and when it's important, that's where we got to continue to make plays. We made a lot of plays so far in camp, but we need more of that.
Coach Bielema, also maybe emphasize early downs offensively. Just what did you maybe learn last year that about the offense, about maybe the way you can maximize maybe first and second down a little more?
Yeah, sure. We want to have an efficient offense, and that doesn't always mean that we're chasing 4 yards in a cloud of dust, but we want to have 4 yards on first down. So we got to have an efficient run. If we have a pass called that has layers, we got to be willing to check the ball down, to throw the ball to second 7's a lot better than second 10, right? We're going to throw the ball on first down, and we got to have high efficiency passing and passion decisions to where the quarterbacks, they are understanding when I give them the play call, I'm talking to them, saying, look, we're going to check this thing deep, and if it's not there, we're going to use our legs or check down underneath to keep us on track. And so I think we have to have balance in early downs. I know we do, but we have to have the ability to check the ball down and keep us right on track.